A great time to start a new weekday. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Ikwebike.
And I'm Choma Okoke.
All right, we'll be heading straight to our newspaper headlines for all that we have for you this morning from the pages of Nigerian daily newspapers. And after that will be our main conversation also for today, where we'll get everything all sorted out for you. Please do well to be part of our community. Have a say in what we say. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. With us today in the studio to do justice to all that, we have newspapers headlines, of course, and if possible, take us through on our main conversation. There is Barrister Evans Ofeli, a barrister, law and public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy
Morning.
new day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. So let's kickstart our newspaper headlines today, and what do we have, Choma?
We're starting with the Daily Trust newspaper, and the big story here: how multi-billionaire has entered Nigeria 23 times in 7 years. And we have about 3 riders, but I think I'll just pick 2. Trend portends grave danger. That is coming from experts. Investigation ongoing, coming from the customs.
And also we have on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, war on Gaza, 1 year of killings, hunger and displacement. Remember, today is the 1 year marking October 7th. You know, when Hamas, of course, did a very big blow on Israel. Yeah.
Okay, moving on, still on the Daily Trust newspaper. High interest rates painful for borrowers, but necessary to control inflation. That is coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
And also Abuja, Kaduna, Kano Highway, FG threatens to evoke being a contract over a price dispute. Yeah.
Okay, on the Kaduna Abuja Highway, federal government threatens to revoke beggars contract over price dispute. Sorry about
right.
that. Yes, we just took that. Okay, moving on, let's get to the main story here. Gunmen abduct school principal, 8 others in Kaduna. And I'll just give a little body to the particular story. Gunmen attacked in Kachia urban community on Saturday night, abducting 9 people. According to residents, the assailants arrived around 9:30 p.m. and began shooting, causing panic among the locals. And Hamza Idris, a resident, told newsmen that people fled in all directions before the kidnappers reached their intended target. And the locals said the primary victim, Ibrahim Tafsu Imam, principal of Government Secondary School, Kachia Urban, was taken from his residence. Now, Barrister Evans Ofeli, it is not news anymore that, especially in the north, the gunmen come around to abduct, and even when they tried reaching out to the policemen, there have been no comments about this. Should Nigerians, really citizens in the north, now resort to just making themselves available to these gunmen and kidnappers, and the police would not even bring up any investigations or bring up ways or intelligence to just meet them at the point where they're trying to go about their business?
Yeah, well, not too long ago, one of the governors of the state, I think it's Zamfara, called for the people to arm themselves since security has failed ostensibly. The situation is not different in Kaduna. It has gotten to a point where citizens may have to defend themselves, largely so. The senator who moved the motion for citizens to be armed, okay, it was highly vilified. I was among those who said that was wrong, because he was actually the senator representing Delta North Senatorial District, where I came from. So I was vehement about it. But as it is now, you know, it appears that the citizens will have to, you know, defend themselves, carry arms to defend themselves, because the kidnappers are with arms. It has gotten to that level where they need to look into, if they have to license gun, perhaps they need to look into this issue of the situation on ground. Maybe people who live within very volatile areas, you have to amend the law to allow them to bear arms. Not everybody. And also, there should be restriction as to how those arms must be used. They must be used under threatening condition. That is very serious threatening condition. Otherwise, because the police, they are worn out. As far as I can see, there's no motivation. They are not safe themselves. These people drive into police stations and ransack everybody, kill everybody. They do that. Sometimes the police are afraid of wearing their uniforms. They don't want to be easy target to these people. So it is the failure of government, general security breakdown, where a court will be somewhere and be asking that policemen should not be deployed to protect lives and properties. When government has failed horribly, that is where you see things like that. And the people must be able to address this issue. They have to address the issue. You see, let me even state this. Okay, there is no constitution in the world that is bigger than the people it is meant to protect. You understand what I mean? The law is made for man and not the other way around. So if the constitution with all its embodiment of don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, and government is unable to protect people, they will breach the constitution by doing what? By protecting themselves, resorting to self-help. We do not encourage our people resort to self-help, but where government has shown incapacity, self-help will be the natural consequence of that.
But
have to protect themselves.
when we talk about self-help, I am very so emotional about this, coming from the southeast of Nigeria. The self-help that you talked about, averagely was what was resorted to in the southeast of Nigeria. Right now, the whole place is in anarchy. People don't even know the rules of engagement any longer.
Yes.
Because you see, talks, of course, you see them arm themselves in the guise of protecting themselves, but at the same time stealing, maiming, killing their own people. So how do self-help suddenly becomes a solution to this issue?
No, I am not calling for self-help. If you listen to me carefully, I'm saying that anywhere government is failing ostensibly, the consequence of that will be resort to self-help. But that government should allow people who live in very volatile areas, volatile lines, where insecurity has become a very big issue, and government is unable to deploy the necessary security apparatus to tame the issue. Perhaps allowing the people to bear arm or giving them certain level of allowance to protect themselves might be necessary.
But don't you think
Might be necessary
yes.
because the government is failing.
But don't you think at this point, instead of that, why not we maybe hammer on state policing? If that could quickly bring the solution.
We've been doing that. We're talking about state policing for how long? The Southwest came up with the Amoteku. The Southeast came up with the ESN.
No, the
Ebubago.
which of course is not even functional.
Which is not for even the Amoteku. They kidnap every day along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, along Shagamu, Ijebode Expressway, and other internal security issues. So the Amoteku themselves, there was this report that immediately they were employed and they were armed, they take the arms to go and hunt instead of use it for the purpose, and they are not always on their duty post. So talking about indiscipline, were they well trained? Do they even know the objective of this assignment? And why is it that their own survival is more important to them, even when they are being paid, than the survival of their general society? They are supposed to provide skeletal security information in their own locality. But when you go to their security beats, you will find that they are in their farms. They are hunting, sometimes they are playing draft or just drinking somewhere, or just looking for women in the village. That's what they are doing.
Okay, Barrister, you mentioned something which have actually gotten to the National Assembly about passing it into law, which is about people bearing arms and being able to defend themselves. Now, in a country where our law we can say our law is holding such power and the judiciary is not even helping matters. If they should allow people to bear arms in this current state where we have, where Nigeria is
It's a
sitting.
dangerous situation. But what do you want me to analyze now? Yes, this is asking you what you want to analyze is because you see the security are not the government security agencies are not effective. Look at Southern Kaduna. Southern Kaduna have been run over. You know what I mean? Now I know the implication of this. You see, in very civilized society, in the US, gun bearing now is a big problem.
Exactly.
They made it a strategic amendment in their constitution when they had this level of insecurity. You understand? Today it has become a behemoth.
Yes.
You understand? I was in a place in Maryland. We had to go into a place in Maryland. We were told that we cannot go there if we are not properly fortified. You understand? So if you sit down for 1 hour and watch TV in the US, you will not be able to go out. This one was shot here. This one was shot here. This was killed where gunmen shot. The thing is, somebody took rifle, went to the gate of a school in Texas. The moment the school closed and children were coming out, he started clearing, shooting all of them. 44, he killed 44. In one day. When he was asked why he did that, he said, well, he's tired of life. You understand? I'm talking about a society where at least hunger is not a problem. You know, they live very comfortably to a particular extent. But in this our own case, we are losing more people because the people are not they don't have anything to defend them. These police, they are not working effectively. The soldiers, even the natives, you know, accuse the soldiers of complicity. That when they report to them, when there are distress calls, they don't come out. Okay? So what exactly are we going to analyze now here this morning as to how the citizens will be protected if government cannot protect them? You know, in the days of yore, before the industrial age, when conquest was the only way man could make wealth, the people had to defend themselves. Okay? When government now came in, government took away that responsibility in exchange for tax. So when the people paid tax, the government used the tax to pay the soldiers, the army, the navy, well, to protect the territorial integrity. So if that one is no longer working, maybe society will need, because society is dynamic. Which other option would the people? These are the controversies that led to. I mean, Parliament in the US, they sat on it on many occasions. They were frustrated, and they said, you know what? Let everybody carry arms and let everybody begin to defend themselves at the point where the government security cannot come to their aid. So I don't know any other way to.
It's so very unfortunate. Choma, remember a couple of days back we talked about Ibrahim Traore, the Burkina Faso. You know, when he told his people to defend themselves, and 600 were killed just like that while they were digging the trenches around their community. Well, let's go to Punch. We have less than 2 minutes here, and the big story: Rivers crisis. Wike comes ahead for court. That's Fubara Suez in LG, Chairman.
Okay, on the bottom strip of the Punch newspaper, a trafficked drug to pay my MSc fees. That is coming from a Canadian suspect. Details are on page 4 and 5. Yes,
and also on the bottom strip there, 50 CNG stations are servicing 200 million Nigerians. Let's talk about that, You know, we talk about the CNGs. You know, that's one of the biggest, catch campaign slogan for the president, CNG. But here we have it, 50 CNG stations are servicing 200 million Nigerians. Are we really serious about this?
Well, do we have up to 200 million CNG vehicles? They are just few now. So that is the 50 can service whatever it is. I'm not saying this. I know that there's an increase in the number, that some were imported not too long ago. Okay. This same CNG we are talking about, they've been using it in Ghana for so long.
Really?
Yes, for a very long time now. When I traveled to Ghana, the vehicles that carried me around were all CNGs. All of them are gas, you know. But we are not serious about the CNG thing. We are not. And also, we are not looking at our roads. Because the CNG is also a security risk situation. You don't use CNG vehicles in roads that have serious potholes because that car can explode.
No, our analysts have analyzed that it's not as combustible as it
No, no,
is.
it's
That
not.
people should
No, no, it's
remove
not.
that
No, it's
fear.
not. It's not. It's not. It's a very useful material. I mean, but I'm saying you don't use those materials in roads that are badly like our roads here. I mean, if we're going to transit to CNG, we need to, look at our road vis-a-vis the policy. Because one thing with this government that they just start policy. They just start policy, and I would have thought that now that it's raining season, when the roads have really gone bad, you should do an overhaul of the roads. Okay, while you are doing that, you are bringing the CNGs gradually. Okay, then you're able to make the roads very good. Even if there's no CNG, shouldn't you fix roads?
Very well.
So they should fix the road and then deploy the CNG buses and let it work. Let it work. That's the most important thing.
All right, that's just about the time. We have more interesting stories coming from our newspaper headlines, but that's just how we would wrap it on this particular segment. However, I'd love to say thank you to Barrister Vansupe.
My pleasure.
Thank you. All right, yeah.
And when we return, Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara swears in the local government chairman following Saturday's election. So has Yesu Wike finally been caged? Let's discuss this in just a bit.
Please don't go anywhere.